Thank you very much, Mr. Joshi, for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to have you. Today we will be discussing the fragmentation of the world order and the emergence of the global south, and also the relationship between India and Africa and how it is evolving within the current geopolitical context. So my first question would be on the current, let's say, fragmentation of world order. How do you think the current geopolitical landscape is evolving, and what do you think is bringing forward the emergence of, let's say, the global south?
You know, the North-South divide had actually been forgotten. I remember it arising during the time of non-alignment. And then for about 20-25 years, we just completely forgot all about it. We forgot all about it under the advent of globalization, when the whole hope was that the South would be the engine behind the global economy, would be integrating into the free world, and that is how things would move. That dream got shattered in 2008. And after that, the very countries who were promoting this global integration started becoming skeptical of it. They started a new narrative shortly after that, particularly after COVID, about de-risking, about building more resilient supply chains, about closing borders, about basically refragmenting the world and starting a new narrative. Now, this is when the global south really started getting resurrected. It had a new lease of life. And the reason for that new lease of life was that it started seeing through these fairy tales, these narratives of power, which had been forced down upon them through the years, and started asking their own questions. And the thing about the global south is, see, the global south is about multipolarity. It is not about having a unified voice. It is about having the importance of multiple voices, multiple governance systems, multiple pathways to development, multiple pathways to transitioning to the new world order, including tackling global situations like climate change, global emergencies which are all around us, but finding multiple pathways to it. Understanding that there can never be no one size which fits all. So this is the New South. The New South is about seeking this kind of diversity. And yes, the New South is extremely diverse. Now, India is in one position with a different basket of resources, South Africa another, Morocco another. Various countries of the African continent have different problems. So for Latin America. So what you are seeing is in the emergence of the New South, this willingness, this ability to be able to give new voices, not to take the beaten path of unilateralism, which basically was at the heart of the old world order dominated by the old global north. So this is basically against the kind of unilateralism, the kind of unifying narratives. Unilateralism was more about discourses, unifying discourses, prescriptive discourses being pushed down upon down the throats of a very skeptical global south. So what you're seeing is today, the New South is a skeptical global south. It's a South which is asking the questions. It is asking whether there should be these unifying narratives, whether we should be forging our own multiple pathways through consensus into the new world order. This is what the global South is.
The global south has never had as much publicity as it did through 2023, and we've seen the African Union joining the G20 during the New Delhi summit, the G20 summit in New Delhi, and also we've seen the BRICS expansion, including new members around the so-called global south. What do you think are the concrete opportunities that this brings for African countries and the global south in general?
See, I think the biggest opportunity is that they are today in a position where they want their voices to be heard, and they are seeing that there are forums where their voices are going to be heard. Those voices are not going to be unified voices. Those voices are going to be disparate voices. There will be not always agreement between them, but there will be the willingness to forge some kind of a consensus. See, ultimately, you never find the best solutions to problems. Problems are multifold. You do not even find the most optimal solution, but consensus is about seeking the best suboptimal solutions. And this is the way in which the Global South is moving. You see multiple alliances. See, members of the Global South are members of multiple organizations. You have the SCO, you have the BRICS, you have the Organization of African Union. So you have these multiple organizations, ECOWAS and all the others, ASEAN, which come up and give, in their separate forums, give voice to what are their regional aspirations, what are their local aspirations, and what are the aspirations of those people who live in those localities, who live in those regions. So this is what the Global South is about. It is going to be about plurilateralism. Plurilateralism means plural voices. Plurilateralism means you will not see the world in black and white. You will not see the world even in shades of grey. You will see the world in all its colors. And those colors are going to find expression. The Global South is about multiple colors, multiple voices.
And through this current geopolitical landscape, we see the historical relationship between India and African countries going even stronger. So what do you think are the new, let's say, basis of this cooperation? What are the key sectors for the cooperation between India and the African countries in this context?
I think there are multiple means in which this cooperation is going to take place. I think one of the big areas where we are making advances in this cooperation is technology. Technology is emerging, and innovation through technology. That is emerging as one of the big features, the big things in this cooperation between the Global South, in the countries of the Global South. Now, India today has got this United Payments Interface. It is a completely neutral platform. It is a platform which anyone can ride. It is not just MasterCard and Visa and the big banks which are going to ride on this platform. Anyone, any application, any company which wants to buy and sell, any individual which wants to buy and sell, rides on this platform. The result is that today you can transfer money, which even means you can transfer 3 cents through your mobiles from one to the other without any charges. Now, this is capturing the mind of a lot of people in the Global South. Similarly, you're taking it to the next stage where you're saying that the same thing can also be done for e-retailing, for economic commerce. Build these platforms where everyone can interact. It is not just through gatekeepers like Amazon, like Flipkart, like Walmart, where the retailing takes place. Everyone is in the marketplace. Create the old town square kind of marketplace. Create place for small vendors where they can sell their goods through these kinds of applications. And this is making a huge transformation. So similarly, the whole concept of creating identity to people, giving them voice, giving them banking facilities at little or no cost. Now, these are major transformations which technology is enabling. Now, is technology going to be used for the good of the people? Is technology going to be used to empower people? Can it really empower people in the Global South? And not just the big corporations, not the FANGs, not Facebooks, not Amazons. But how do you empower the common man to be able to do commerce, interact, and create financial inclusion through this landscape? Now, these are innovations which are being done in the Global South. These are innovations which they can all ride on. So that is one big area of cooperation. So ultimately, there is, the way of thinking, the way of imagining the world is in a way different between the North and the South. So I would call it a kind of a discursive divide, a divide of ideas, a divide of values, which is actually separating the two. And this is also going to be creating new systems of commerce, new systems of governance, new systems of tackling global problems like climate change, where today the Global South is finding a voice. They are saying, we are not going to be waiting for what the North does about it. They have responsibilities, they've not done anything about it. They have a historical responsibility, they've closed their eyes to it. They have been responsible for the world's emissions. They had a responsibility for climate finance, they've done zilch about it. They talk loss and damage. There's a lot of talk. There are lots of travels taking place all over the world, loss and damage, loss and damage. When it comes to committing money, there's next to nothing committed on loss and damage. So the Global South today thinks that yes, these are problems, these are our problems, and we are going to find ways of solving them. The ways will not necessarily be the prescriptive ways which the North has suggested so far.
One final question, and it's about the, let's say, the divide in narrative and the divide in positions. Do you actually see the Global South as being antagonistic to the Global North?
No. See, eventually it does not help to be antagonistic. And the Global North is not about antagonism. Antagonism is within the Global North. All the conflicts arise out of what? Out of the insecurities of the P5. That is where all the conflicts arise from. The Global North is about forgiving, forgetting, and moving on. The Global South is about forgetting, forgiving, and moving on. We forgot colonialism. We don't hold it against them. We forgot slavery. We moved on. We lived in this world. We are willing to be pragmatic and move on. The Global South is about being pragmatic, about cooperating with everybody, getting them together, provided there are no agendas behind it.
Thank you very much for answering these questions, and looking forward to discussing with you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.